This is CBC Here and Now.
It will supply the entire island of Newfoundland grid.
And after the thing has been in operation for several years, I'm sure the rates in Newfoundland will probably be cheaper than most of the rest of the country.
Newcomer marks a milestone.
From Churchill Falls to the Avalon, Labrador power starts rolling in.
Good evening, I'm Debbie Cooper.
And I'm Anthony Germain. Well, let's get to it. Power is flowing from Labrador to Newfoundland for the first time.
It's all part of the controversial Lower Churchill project, but the power is not coming from Muskrat Falls. Here now's Terry Roberts brings you that story.
This is the iconic power generating station at Churchill Falls, Labrador, supplying massive amounts of power to eastern North America for more than 4 decades, mostly at the benefit of Hydro-Quebec. Well, now for the first time, it's sending small amounts of electricity to Newfoundland over nearly 1,500 kilometers of newly built transmission lines, including a subsea cable beneath the Strait of Belle Isle, to this sprawling converter station at Soldiers Pond, just outside St. John's, where it's redirected into the provincial grid.
Now, this big asset that's really, the flagship power plant for this province is bringing power all the way down to the island.
Just 45 megawatts for now, still testing, refining.
Throughout the summer and into the fall, we're taking a very deliberate stepped approach in taking the system from 45 megawatts, then up to 65 megawatts, 110, and then eventually to 200, 220 through this coming winter.
Between 20–30% of the overall demand.
Because we've reached a major milestone.
It's all part of Stan Marshall's plan to import cheaper Churchill Falls power, well ahead of the scheduled completion of the generating station at Muskrat Falls in 2020, displacing expensive power at Holyrood, which burns heavy oil. Over the next 2 years, Nalcor hopes to bank about $200 million in savings, earmarked to help mitigate the expected doubling of power rates in the coming years. It's all coming at a great cost to residents.
The problem was we built something that was way beyond what we needed.
But over the long term, Marshall sees an upside.
After the thing has been in operation for several years, I'm sure the rates in Newfoundland will probably be cheaper than most of the rest of the country.
It's the latest chapter in a major project that has caused deep division in the province. A price tag that has ballooned to nearly $13 billion. A public inquiry about to begin. A project described by Marshall himself as a boondoggle, a faulty strategy.
Don't blame the soldiers, blame the generals.
Terry Roberts, CBC News, Soldiers Pond.
Now, Churchill Falls has the capacity to produce 5,428 megawatts of electricity. So why are we only getting 200?
Because the rest is spoken for. Sold to Hydro-Quebec at bargain basement prices, part of that controversial contract that expires in 2041. Stan Marshall says he's not ruling out buying back power from Hydro-Quebec if the price is right.
Newfoundland and Labrador has a new distinction. A CBC investigation has found that this province has the highest reported drug losses from pharmacies in the country. Here now is Ariana Kelland is on this story. Ariana joins us now live. So how much missing medication are we talking about, Ariana?
Well, hundreds of thousands of addictive drugs have gone missing in this province since 2012, and the potentially deadly painkiller oxycodone tops that list. With the flash of a knife or the bucket of a backhoe, thousands of potentially deadly drugs get into the wrong hands. Now, a CBC investigation has found this province is the worst when it comes to missing drugs. In fact, 3 times worse. From 2012 to 2017, nearly 450,000 doses have been reported as missing to Health Canada, and armed robbers are the top culprit.
It's very easy for someone who does a pharmacy armed robbery or a break-in to liquidate their ill-gotten goods on the street.
And it can be lucrative. The RCMP say 1 milligram of oxycodone goes for $1 on the street. So just one 40 milligram pill could run $40. But Conahan says it's indicative of a larger opioid problem, one that crosses all facets of society, including those with frontline access to heavy medication. Some of the biggest losses came at the hands of employees themselves. 2 St. John's pharmacists have lost their ability to practice since 2015. One stole more than 17,000 pills. The other obtained 629 fake prescriptions using made-up patient profiles. Both said they used the drugs themselves and struggled with addiction. In 2017, a pharmacy technician from that same location was sentenced for stealing over 100,000 pills.
Even with the best policies and procedures in place, things can go wrong. And healthcare providers they're humans and subject to all health issues, mentally and physically, as everybody else in our society.
She says pharmacists are good with reporting lost drugs to Health Canada and that security protocols are in place. But ultimately, Priddle says these pharmacists are up against a societal problem that they often see on a daily basis. Ariana Kelland, CBC News, St. John's. Now, last year, over 45,000 doses of medication were reported missing in this province. The Pharmacy Board says it doesn't look like this year is tracking any differently. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Ariana Kelland in St. John's.
Now, besides oxycodone, other powerful painkillers such as Demerol and Tylenol 4s top the list. The drug loss reports are from January of 2012 and September 2017, and they were obtained by CBC News through an access to information request. Now, over that time period, there were more than 142,000 individual reports filed with Health Canada. And this province tops the list, but let's see just how we compare. The Yukon is the next closest place to this province, and British Columbia is in third place, but a significant drop compared to here.
Newfoundlanders could be in for another increase in their electricity bills. Newfoundland Power has asked the Public Utilities Board for a general increase of 1.2%. That's on top of the almost 7% increase coming this weekend. The company also wants higher profits. It's asking for a 9.5% return on equity, up from 8.5%. Consumer advocate Dennis Brown says Newfoundland Power cannot justify any rate increase given their annual after-tax profits now exceed $40 million a year.
Well, if you're flying out of St. John's this summer, you're going to notice some big changes in the airport in a few weeks. The pre-boarding security zone will no longer be located here. It's going to move to the first floor just next to the check-in area. And that change is going to happen on the morning of July the 12th. The airport authority says that construction began in 2014 and now 150,000 square feet have been added to the departure area. Now that means additional seating and more food, beverage and retail outlets. Companies being added include the Newfoundland Chocolate Company, Booster Juice and Yellow Belly Brewery. The terminal was designed to accommodate 900,000 passengers a year, but that has jumped to 1.5 million. Next year, construction starts on expanding the arrivals area by roughly 100,000 feet.
Well, when his garbage blew in the ocean, this daredevil jumped in too. Sandy Snellen was camping near the spout on the East Coast Trail when a plastic bag got away from him. Snellen said the water was only 3 or 4 degrees and it was a little sketchy getting out as the rocks were covered in seaweed. But he says keeping plastic out of the ocean is a big deal for him. He says he felt comfortable diving in as he's a lifeguard, surfer, and sea kayaker. But next time he'll take his mom's advice and prevent the bag from getting away from him.
Dedicated
Oh my goodness.
Now you have to admit that water looks inviting.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
It doesn't look 3 degrees.
It doesn't. I mean, you could just look at the color and think that. And we do have too much plastic in there.
Yeah.
So I guess.
I'd be like his mom.
I give him an 8.9 on the dive, though.
Yes.
That was pretty impressive.
He's, well,
dedicated.
I did hear him speak about this earlier, and he said he's very experienced. Don't
try this at home.
Don't try it if you're not.
I know what it's like to have a day like that, though, when something gets away from you. And speaking of plastic, a quick story for you here.
Okay.
Yesterday was one of those days. I went to heat up my coffee. So it's in a cardboard cup with the plastic top. 30 seconds is all it needs in the microwave. And I go in, I put it on, I go back to get it. The coffee is sitting on the counter, and I put the plastic lid in the microwave for 30 seconds. Didn't even heat up my coffee.
This was all because of the snow.
Yes, it was the snow. It threw me off. It threw everybody off, didn't it? Well, okay, I should just speak for myself.
Distracted.
Yeah, really distracted. Oh, okay, so this is how weather is here. All right, let's go for it. Highs today, complete contrast. We get into the drama of the weather and the extremes that we're seeing. Have a look right now. Now, these are the highs, but this is actually the current temperature we're seeing in St. John's as well. Badger sitting at 21-20, and Gander for the high temperature, Deer Lake at 21. So some really nice readings out there, and that heat is just going to keep building in. So we're going to get even further on that contrast scale. Now, a look at some of the sustained winds that we are seeing out there coming out of the southwest at about 40 kilometers an hour. Those are sustained. We are getting some stronger gusts. That's really important, though, that southwesterly flow, because that's that indication of those temperatures that will be moving up. We had some instability. We had some cloud cover, you know, over here towards the Avalon, that breaking up and the sun really coming out. There is another system that will be moving towards us. I'm going to tell you how that's going to impact us with the holiday weekend coming up, and we'll talk about that a little bit later.
I'm from Congo, DRC. I'm French speaker.
A group of creative newcomers find their place in the fabric of St. John's and stitch together a new future here. That's in 20 minutes on Here and Now.
Ray Newman is going to jail. He was once acquitted of killing his estranged wife, but now Newman has been sentenced to 60 days behind bars for abusing his girlfriend while their relationship was on the outs. Here Now's Ryan Cook was in the courtroom today. He's joining us now. Ryan, what's been the reaction to this sentence?
Well, it was a much different reaction than 6 years ago when Ray Newman walked down these Supreme Court stairs as a free man. Today, his estranged ex-wife, Chrissy Predham Newman, her family sat in the courtroom and watched a much different walk from the man they believed killed their loved one.
Enjoy your summer, buddy. Enjoy your summer.
Bruce Harvey wished Ray Newman all the best at the penitentiary, more than a little sarcastically, as he watched him led out of court in shackles.
I just wished him a good summer. I'm sure they'll have lots of activity down in the you know, and he might get to watch the regatta and stuff like that, so good for him. You know, he's got a good seat for the regatta, and I heard now they have a little farm down there so he can grow some vegetables maybe, you know, and maybe he can mix those vegetables with a bit of crow.
Harvey was heartbroken to see Newman walk free after allegedly killing his niece in 2007. It was ruled the RNC violated his rights several times, and much of the evidence was tossed. Harvey was the one who found his niece, stabbed to death in her basement apartment where she lived with her infant daughter. At the time, she had recently separated from Newman. In this case, the court heard Newman's relationship with a PEI woman was on the outs. Newman says she initiated the attack, but the victim testified she was punched, choked, and dragged. In court this afternoon, Newman read over a victim impact statement, reading how she was left battered and bruised, lost her job, and lost her trust in men. He remained stone-faced throughout the entire sentencing, except for a smirk when the Crown suggested a 90-day sentence. For Harvey, it feels a bit like vindication. Finally, a criminal record for a man who he believes got away with something much worse.
I'm not a very religious person, but I wish Chrissy could see it.
Now, when asked if he had anything to say, Newman stood before the judge. He apologized to the court and to his own family, and as for the victim, he said he wished her all the best. Reporting live in St. John's, I'm Ryan Cook.
Lisa Piercy's message is clear. Do not underestimate the power of a mother's determination. She wants answers into the death of her daughter at a jail here in this province.
Nobody knows better.
Welcome back to Here and Now, and to Corner Brook now, where one mother is on a mission to find out exactly how her daughter died. Lisa Piercy's daughter Samantha was found dead in jail in Clarenville at the end of May. Piercy wants to know how this happened. She held a public rally today, and Here and Now's Colleen Connors was there. She joins us live from Corner Brook. Colleen.
Well, Debbie, I'm standing next to the provincial government building here in Corner Brook with the courthouse behind me. And just here at lunchtime today, that's where Lisa Piercy and 20 of her supporters came out and showed their determination for answers and their frustration with the system. Samantha Piercy died on May 26th in a jail in Clarenville, just days before she was scheduled for a trial at the courthouse right behind me. Her mother, like you said, is on a mission to find out exactly what happened to her daughter.
When a mom is determined, and nobody knows better than a mom. And when a mom is determined, don't stand in her way. She will find out what she needs to know.
That is the message at this public rally today. Lisa Piercy wants to know how her daughter Samantha Piercy died at the Clarenville Correctional Center on May 26th. Authorities told Piercy 2 days later that her daughter died by suicide. She doesn't believe that.
I spoke to her the night before. She was coming back to Corner Brook the following Thursday. She really believed come Friday she was out. She sounded upbeat. She couldn't wait.
Another inmate, Sky Martin, died just weeks prior to Piercy at the same jail. There is currently an independent investigation into these deaths, but this mother is pushing for more, a full public inquiry.
The investigator is only given so much power. You're only going to be able to dig so deep. I'm also told us, her family, don't have to be included, don't have to know the findings of that investigation, not necessarily any changes to be made. However, with a public inquiry, it's dug deeper. We're included, we know the findings, changes have to be made.
Samantha's family and friends feel the same. Her younger sister struggles to understand.
Because I want to be informed, and especially dealing with grief already. When, Sam, to me, I still can't believe that she did this to herself, so I really need that. I need them to show me something, give me something to, help raise her kids, help get through this myself.
Samantha's family is not stopping here at one public rally. Tomorrow, Lisa is heading to the jail in Clarenville.
Hopefully they'll speak to me. Hopefully they'll allow me some access to some of the things I've been asking for access to that I'm told I have the right to.
What is it you want to see or do at the correctional center?
I want to see the videos. I need to see for myself.
And of course, Lisa does hope to go to the Clarenville jail, see those videos, and determine exactly how her daughter died. And she will continue to push government for that public inquiry. Live in Corner Brook tonight, I'm Colleen Connors for Here and Now.
People settling in Canada from abroad might find it hard to make friends and learn the language. A St. John's group, started in January, is trying to help with that. And they're also showing newcomers how to design their own futures. Here Now's Malone Mullen has more.
I can have the same size if this.
Mm-hmm. You're going to cut 2 pieces of the exact same size.
So in that, let me go.
So you can fold the fabric and have it doubled, and that way you only have to cut one.
Yes. So I can go like this.
All right. So what are you making here?
A bag.
You're making a bag?
Yes, I'm making a bag.
Like a tote bag?
One.
Nice.
This is this side and the other side
Gotcha.
of the material.
And when you're done with the bag, you're an entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you sell these online or at markets?
I want to go to the farmers market. Yes. I want also to start farmers market.
How much would you sell a bag for?
I don't know about the bag. I have some bag that I'm making from African material that I'm selling for 20.
How long does it take you to make one?
Maybe 3 or 4 days, because it's the pieces, different color of material that I'm making. You see this material I bring here? Now I can take different of them. But now put it together.
Gotcha. So you do some of the work at home. And then you bring them here and you're able to finish it up using the machines.
Yeah.
Great.
Because I don't have that machine to finish it.
Nice.
That's why I bring here to finish. Now I'm making my house I have also.
Well, this is not exactly the tape we wanted to show you, but it is a very interesting story, and we'll get back to it. That's just ahead.
Some are new to the country, others have been here for decades, and tonight
they're all officially Canadians. We'll take you to today's citizenship ceremony.
Update is brought to you by Take Charge Business Efficiency Program. Over 570 businesses have saved energy and taken charge of their bottom line. Find out how you can too.
Felt a little warmer this afternoon, and it's seems to be feeling warmer in here right now for reasons I can't quite determine.
For you or for just for, you know, who knows? Let me explain what's going on here is that I follow Leonardo DiCaprio on Instagram because he's all about climate change and he's a real advocate.
That's why you follow him?
That's the only reason that I follow him. And that's
my dad reads Playboy for the articles. It's the same kind of
I've heard about that one. Instagram, though, all his pictures have always just been postings that they weren't him. They really were about other things, environmental things. And then today, surprise, surprise, this one pops up on his Instagram account. And it's just a kind of preview for a movie he's shooting. But look at the guy beside him. Can you figure out who that is? It took me a moment.
Oh, I know it's Brad Pitt.
Yeah. But didn't it take a second? No, just looks like him. Anyway, any excuse, frankly, really any excuse for me to put up a picture of, in fact, I don't think I've ever, sorry, I just walked through the camera. That's how, I guess, warm it is in here. I didn't want to punch through it because I thought maybe, I'm a little small. I should have made them a bit smaller in the photo there.
A rose between two thorns.
Any excuse to get these guys up here, which has never, ever in the history, and I've been doing this a couple of decades, have I ever been able to do something like that. All right, current temperatures, just having a look what's going on out there. 8 degrees in Cape Race right now, St. Lawrence at 10 degrees, Badger, you guys 21, Stephenville and towards 11. Now, if we head up further north, Happy Valley, Goose Bay 15, and Nain, it's 10 degrees right now, so at least back into those nice double digits that we're seeing. The current sustained winds, have a look at what's going on. We're getting a bit of a westerly flow here, but then it's coming much more southwesterly as we're moving over towards the south coast, over towards the Avalon as well, and it is that southwesterly flow. Sure, it helped a little bit today with those temperatures coming up. The sunshine helped too as we saw some of that instability moving away. But the other thing is that southwesterly flow is going to pump those temperatures up further. Now, I've been talking about the warm up for St. John's. Central Newfoundland, you're really going to experience some nice temperatures. You're going to see in just a moment there where they are headed. But the next system we'll start dealing with, now there's going to be some instability out ahead of this. We've got a few different things that are going on here, but this will be the next real playmaker that we'll have to deal with. But you can see it's a ways off there. We've still got high pressure in between. So just a closer look at some of the shower activity we saw earlier. Then what's left is mostly just some virga. So that's just coming off the radar scope. It's not actually anything there to deal with. That means tonight it does bring a risk of frost again. We have that potential with the temperatures, clearer skies, and the temperatures dropping down towards 3 for Labrador City, Happy Valley, Goose Bay, you guys 2. A little bit of cloud cover, that'll protect you a bit, but just so you know, there is a risk. We'll probably see at least some patchy frost. Elsewhere, kind of a quiet night other than the winds, quiet in terms of the sky conditions. Then, as we move forward, and let's just kind of track how this next system is going to approach. I know we've got a holiday weekend coming up. It's very important also, of course, for us on Monday for Memorial Day. So just kind of seeing what we're getting a peek now of what that weather is going to be. So tomorrow, have a look at this. This is just in the morning hours, just a little bit of instability. Some of that colder air from the north and that warmer air kind of meeting up. That's why there's just a chance. You saw it was a slim band of some showers in there. Otherwise, through the day, we will see the clouds increase, the chance of showers increasing through the day, and eventually we're going to watch these riding up towards the southwest and then stretching up along the northern peninsula. And this is as we go into Friday when we'll feel the effects of this also into southern Labrador. You'll get some heavy rains, at least periods of some heavier rains as we head through the day on Friday. And what happens is this continues to move from the southwest and pushing to the northeast. So this is all the way through Friday night into Saturday morning. And that's when we're just looking at that chance that we're going to see that rain move towards the Avalon. So it's going to take some time to make that projection across. Afternoon outlook for tomorrow, Nain 11 degrees, 19 Happy Valley, Goose Bay. I mentioned some really pleasant temperatures, some warmth into central parts of Newfoundland. So having a look at Grand Falls, Windsor, how about a high temperature of 26 degrees tomorrow? Debbie?
Sounds good to me. Well, today is Canadian Multiculturalism Day, the perfect backdrop for a citizenship ceremony that took place at the Rooms in St. John's this afternoon. 30 immigrants became official Canadians, and we were there to hear their stories.
That I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Today, I'm gonna same value as a Canadian but every day was the same to me since I came to this country. I feel welcome and I feel safe. My story is I was born in Cape Town, South Africa. I grew up in Tanzania. So Tanzania is like my home because I went to Swahili school in Tanzania. And that's pretty much my story. And I've been in this country for a long time. And until today, I can become a Canadian citizen.
I'm from Libya, North Africa, and I came from 2011. I love it. People is very friendly and lovely, and I love this place. I feel I'm in my home. I'm with my husband. My husband is a physician here. He working a long time from 2002.
Actually, originally from Jordan.
Jordan.
I think you know Jordan. It's in the Middle East.
Congratulations.
Actually, this is the first place we landed in, and we have been here since 6 years ago. Yeah.
And who of your family has become new Canadians?
All of us, we are 5 members. We are come together in the same day.
10 years old. How old are you?
6 years.
And how old are you?
12.
12 years old. So how do you feel today? This is kind of a big deal, right?
I feel really good, and I'm happy that I'm Canadian.
And what do you want to do when you grow up?
I want to be a chemist.
Actually, currently I'm working as a scientific specialist in Eastern Health.
And where are you from?
We're from India.
We have a big community here, Hindu community, and some of my friends are here, so they told me about St. John's and Newfoundland. Then I thought it's better to go in a place where we have a community as well as some of the friends so that we can get some help from them. So I decided to come to St. John's.
I think it's beautiful. Everyone's really nice, and I love it.
Well, now to another story about newcomers that we tried to share with you earlier this evening. People settling in Canada from abroad might find it hard to make friends and learn our language. A St. John's group started in January is trying to help with that, and they're also showing newcomers how to design their own futures. Here Now's Malone Mullen has more.
Dorcas Kiambe is new to sewing, new to the country, a refugee from Congo who fled to Namibia and then to Montreal before settling down in St. John's.
This place helped me too much.
This place is the Creative Sewing Atelier Studio. It's a free class and club made up of students from across the map.
This program is to offer to all the community. In special, we have a lot newcomers and immigrant and refugee people. And sometimes, in my case, when I moved here, I don't have a job. I am insulating home. So it is really important to have one door open.
Some of its 40-plus members sew as a hobby.
Getting to know people from all over the world. You take a look at that map up there.
Others join to make new friends.
I want sewing and the selling. That I want.
But for Kiambe, sewing has turned into a passion. And one day, she hopes, a business.
I'm here now to be strong, to develop everything.
So you can grab your pincushion and pin.
Kiambe never misses a class, learning to hem with a serger and even quilt.
The whole way around. Okay, and then you're going to flip it right side out and be amazed that it's all done.
Students move from simple pincushions to table runners, tote bags, pillows, backpacks, and then on to full outfits, which they want to model together in a fashion show this fall.
A really nice moment outside home. You're learning new skills like sewing, and you're learning about other cultures.
It's sewing designed to help newcomers call St. John's home. It also gave Kiambe a chance to dream about making one-of-a-kind African-inspired dresses, handbags, and hairpieces, and earning enough to sew full-time.
I have the power to do this I'm doing and to go to the farmer's market because of this place. I was in the way to give up. This is how to take to the farmer's market. Now they already take one dress. That dress is already gone.
For now, you can find Kiambe's tote bags at the Atelier stall in a local farmer's market. But one day, with the help of the Atelier, she wants her own booth.
Push with this hand here. Yes. Okay. Go ahead.
She's optimistic you'll soon see her dresses and skirts in shops around the city, a city she embraces.
I'm in the family. I'm in the family for everybody here. I'm very happy for everybody. I know if I have a problem, where I can go.
So you think you're going to stay in St. John's?
Yes, I like it. I like to stay in St. John's. I'm happy.
You're at home now?
Yes, I'm happy.
Malone Mullen, CBC News, St. John's.
Yeah.
Lots of excitement here at the Legion. Some young students are going to France for the first time, the Trail of the Caribou, and some of them have never even left Newfoundland or Labrador. Welcome back to Here and Now. In less than 2 hours, a plane will take off for the battlefields of France. And what's different about this year's Beaumont Hamel pilgrimage is the number of young people who will be among the 100 or so people who are going to Europe. Apart from young members of the Legion, there are also Heritage Fair ambassadors, students who were selected to go because of their excellent history projects about the First World War. We profiled some of those a couple of months ago on Here and Now. Well, today I dropped by the Legion on Black Marsh Road this afternoon as the excited students were packing their bags. What's the significance of bringing so many young people?
Well, remembrance starts with the young. They have to know why we do our remembrance ceremonies, why we remember our veterans, and what a better way to do it than to bring them right to the battlefields where the soldiers fought.
What do you hope to take away from where you're going?
Well, I hope to get a better knowledge of our province's history, and I just want to really appreciate what our soldiers have done to keep us free.
I'm pretty excited. I think since I've never been in a province, it'd be a good experience to make new friends and make more memories, but I think it's important to know about the heritage and the World War I and everything Newfoundland and Labrador has done to contribute to it.
So you've never left Newfoundland and Labrador, so you've never been to another province or a state?
No, I have never left St. John's as far as I've ever been.
So what do you hope you'll learn on this trip?
I hope I'll learn stuff about my ancestors or people who I may have known, or like my parents and my grandparents may have known, and I think it'd be important to learn about how people lived and how they went through war, and I think it's just an important thing to know and be a good experience.
I did my project on my uncle's great-great-grandfather. He had left a souvenir belt behind, and so it's lots of pins from different countries. So I just explained his story and how he did in the war, and he got shot at Beaumont Hamel.
And now you're actually going to get to Beaumont Hamel.
Yes, I'm very excited to see that's where he fought.
Have you been to Europe before?
I've never been to Europe in my life, but my father's went there many times.
So how excited are you about the fact you're going to get to go to see this place that is related to what you were doing in school?
I'm extremely excited because I've heard so much about it, and now I get to see it, and I've been waiting for a long time. I've always wanted to go to Europe.
Well, listen, congratulations and have a great trip.
Thank you.
What do you hope will be different about these young people once they come back to Newfoundland?
I've been with the Legion now at Provincial Command for 8 years, and everybody comes back with the same line. It's a life-changing tour. So, I mean, what they get out of it is the remembrance and the sacrifices that were made on our behalf, and I think it's something that will stay with them forever.
Some excitement there. Sort of looking at the clock right now, they've got about an hour and 20 minutes before their wheel's up, and then they'll spend next week in the battlefield.
A trip of a lifetime for them. You could see in their faces they're so excited.
Yeah, they really are.
I hope they have a wonderful trip. Well, as students from this province head to Europe, some British school children have made their way here. They're part of a group that's been tending to the graves of more than a dozen Newfoundlanders, one nurse, and 17 Royal Newfoundland Regiment soldiers who died during World War I and now lie in a London cemetery. Today, some of those students are in St. John's for a visit. CBC's Mark Cumby spoke with a number of them at the War Memorial.
In 2003 or 4, the Year 2s went over to play with conkers at our school cemetery, and they noticed that the graves there didn't have any poppies on, and then Mr. Neil, our head teacher, he went into more depth about those graves and found out more and more. They realised they were from Newfoundland. They needed, I don't know, respect.
I've just learnt about all the soldiers, and I've learnt their names and like how they died and what what jobs they did in the war.
We came here because it's where they came from, and also there was relatives of those soldiers which we can talk to, and
Well, the sun came out this afternoon in St. John's.
And there's the proof.
Yes, this is live.
It's not doctored, it is live. Colette is looking ahead to the long weekend. That's next. Time to meet our athletes of the day. 6-year-old Dane Barrett plays hockey with Paradise Warriors initiation program team Ice Soldier.
Pretty cool haircut too. This is Dane's first year and he never, ever misses a practice.
Good for him. Dane is having so much fun learning the game with big thanks to the PMHA amazing coaches. Congratulations to Dane.
And this is Grace Party, who attends Rock Athletics and has her brown belt in Kenpo Karate.
She's also currently a first-year Pathfinder and has been a member of the Mount Pearl Girl Guides for more than 7 years.
Good work, Grace, and congratulations to you. She looks very happy about it. Love it.
We're waiting for you to make us feel very happy about this long weekend coming. I know it's not all in your power to bring on the good weather, but we're looking for some.
Yes, and I'd like to pretend it is. And I don't mind the pressure being put on me when I actually have a forecast that I can back it up with. Yes, so I can deliver, and we can even deliver right now with some of the temperatures that we are seeing out there. So I won't walk through the camera this time. Let's just go ahead and have a look at what we're seeing. For St. John's, it's cooled off just a couple of degrees. 15 now is what we're seeing, and it's still looking pretty good. Nearly 20 degrees for you over there towards Gander, and for those of you watching from Corner Brook as well, we've got 19 degrees there. So we saw some cloud cover, even some scattered showers. There was some instability, but then a lot of that breaking up and quite a bit of sunshine to go around. You can see some of that heat that's a little bit further back towards the west and southwest. Special weather statements in place now for the Maritimes, and that's about that heat wave from Ontario and Quebec that's going to be continuing and pushing through the long weekend and headed eastward. We'll see it to some extent as we head across the island. I show you some of the temperatures in the interior. We will see some really warm readings. But for now, just having a look at that area of low pressure moving away, but counterclockwise circulation there, clockwise circulation through that high pressure, but it's also kind of breaking down and pushing off to the east. So it'll be the next system that is to the southwest of us that we'll deal with. A little instability between those two systems means just I've got a slim chance of seeing some showers. See how that just kind of skirts across the island, and that is as we head through the day tomorrow into tomorrow evening. The main batch is going to be later. So Friday morning, we see this moving up towards southern Labrador for the northern peninsula. We'll also start to see it pushing into southwestern parts of the island, and that's where we go into Friday night. And yes, I know this is into the weekend, right? So into Saturday morning, that moves very quickly though. So it's going to be humid. It's going to be pretty moisture laden in terms of the amounts, but it moves quickly enough that we should hopefully keep those levels down a bit. Long range outlook as we're headed now into Sunday afternoon. We've still got some shower activity, some instability. It looks worse. I really want to kind of tell you this. It looks a little worse than what it is. It's just going to be some scattered showers through that day. There'll be some sunshine breaking out, and into Monday, many cases, there's an exception, but many cases it looks like we're going to have some decent weather, especially for those important morning hours. Here's the exception. So for Western Labrador, we do have a very good chance that you're going to be seeing some wet conditions there. 17 degrees, some of those showers lingering into Friday, and 17 then, but then things do improve, but we have those showers again into Monday morning, that risk. Same thing for Eastern Labrador. So as you look through tomorrow, a beautiful day, 19 degrees, almost up towards 20. And then as we head through the long weekend, that chance of showers towards Monday. Now for Western Newfoundland, we have late day showers. I showed you that risk in the middle part of the day, some instability, but better chance later in the day. The temperatures, just look how they build into Monday, up to 27 degrees for you. That's Western. Central, look how they build into the holiday, up to 29 degrees. And then we come to St. John's. Here we go, 20 degrees, 22 on Friday. Those rain showers, yes, into Saturday, and that risk carries on, but looks pretty good on Monday. Back to you, Debbie.
Thanks, Colette. Well, Newfoundland's power grid is getting a small but needed boost from Churchill Falls. As Here Now's Terry Roberts learned earlier today, that could mean big savings and less reliance on the more expensive Holyrood generation station.
The idea for this coming winter, as John just pointed out, is to do as much as we can to reduce fuel consumption at Holyrood. And Holyrood is a 490 megawatt facility, burns heavy fuel oil. So if we can get 225 megawatts from Churchill Falls via Muskrat Falls converter to here, then that takes a significant chunk out of that 490 megawatt generation here on the Avalon.
Takes the stress off the Holyrood plant, and Holyrood is in a place where
You know, every bit that we connect and buy from other jurisdictions makes a difference. We're in a place where at the end of life, and Holyrood is very much at the end of life.
England's been so heavily criticized, and I criticize it. But what I'm criticizing is the concept. I've never criticized the work or the workers, which is top quality. And so you got to distinguish between those two. If a battle fails, don't blame the soldiers, blame the generals. You know, there was a faulty strategy at the beginning. We dealt with what we had, the cards that were played to us. And the workers have done a tremendous job of that. And as I said, you know, 2 years ago, this wasn't going to be on stream until Muscat came on stream.
I'm going to get you to address the question. You said the people of Newfoundland should appreciate what you've done here. But I think what people are really thinking about is their power bills and what that's going to mean over the next few years. Just address that.
Yeah, and when you build something that didn't match your needs, it creates a disruption, and you face that. But I hear the media talking about, for example, people moving to Nova Scotia because of increased power rates. Well, the people in Nova Scotia are going to pay today are paying a lot more than we are, and close to what we will pay when this is finished. And we will do things to phase in the rates. And after the thing has been in operation for several years, I'm sure the rates in Newfoundland will probably be cheaper than most of the rest of the country, which rates are going up as well. So this is a dynamic thing. Yes, it was a faulty concept in the sense we built something that didn't match our needs. Over time, that will sort itself out.
Update us again on when power from Muskrat Falls will be flowing through this yard.
It'll come in beginning next year. Next year, there'll be power coming into the system from Muskrat.
6 or 7 months?
I'm not saying 6 or 7 months. In 2019, I'm not changing my schedule right now, and there's a lot to be done.
To south of the border now, Donald Trump will soon get to nominate a second person to the U.S. Supreme Court. Justice Anthony Kennedy announced today he's retiring. The 81-year-old was named to the bench 30 years ago by President Reagan. He's been the key vote on issues such as abortion, gay rights, and guns. Without Kennedy, the court will be split between 4 liberals and 4 conservatives. Trump's nominee is likely to give the conservatives a majority.
A major upset in American politics last night, and it could be a sign of things to come. A 28-year-old Latina woman beat a 56-year-old incumbent white man for the Democratic congressional nomination in the Bronx and Queens, New York.
We won because we organized. We won because I think we had a very clear winning message, and we took that message to doors that had never been knocked on before.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a Democratic socialist. She has never held office before, but she did work on the Bernie Sanders presidential campaign, and she traveled to Texas last week to protest the detention of migrants. Representative Joe Crowley has been in office for 19 years, and he has raised 10 times more campaign money than his challenger. The district is a Democratic Party stronghold, and the party's nominee is usually expected to win the seat, and that would be in November. Sweet.
Another great shot coming for you today. Keep them coming to nlphotos@cbc.com. Where do you think this one is? Where in Labrador, Newfoundland?
From this place, you can see many icebergs.
You know. Did you peek? We'll tell you after the break.
Welcome back once again. You remember those moose triplets that have been spotted in Alberta, and we showed it to you. That was at the beginning of the month. Well, here's a quick update.
Seems that they're still in town and they're growing pretty strong. A resident there, Kristen Jacober-Turner, sent us this video of them as it was taken yesterday.
And it shows the happy mom with her 3 healthy calves. Now they are, that is very rare.
Triplets.
Triplets for a moose, but they all look well.
They do. Just gonna go and try the slide. Well, tomorrow's the last day of school for students, and some teachers are finding rather creative ways to mark the end of the school year.
Yep, they are showing that celebrating the end of the school year isn't just something students do.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, everybody up.
I think they did a similar thing last year.
They very well may have. Anyhow,
some school did.
They're happy to see things go. So the staff at Belanger Memorial School in Codroy created this video for students to mark the end of the year.
But they're not alone.
I got that sunshine in my pocket.
This is the one, the school I remember. Yeah. It's now a thing.
Staff at Beachy Cove Elementary in Portugal Cove, St. Phillips. Oh, come on. How many takes? I want to see the making of this video.
Yes.
One take indeed.
One take. Oh,
teachers having some fun.
I wonder what their students think. Anyway.
End of the school year. Congratulations.
Everybody's
and
happy.
Have a great summer. I think technically the students are done, teachers done tomorrow, but have a great summer, y'all.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, and maybe you'll spend it looking at something like this.
This is beautiful.
Isn't this gorgeous? The reflection on the water you pointed out, Debbie, you know, the winds were calm enough for that. It's our picture of the day. NL photos at cbc.ca. Please keep them coming. Back Harbor.
I have to confess, while you were nuking your plastic coffee lid, I hit the space bar in the computer and this came up, so I knew it was Twilling.
Oh, so you did peek.
I don't want to go home with a guilty conscience.
Yeah, oh, no, you know it's near paradise, so doesn't that just make sense? Absolutely, when you see a picture like that.
It's worth visiting there, and it's a bonus to see an iceberg. Yeah. That's our show. See you tomorrow.
Good night.